Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great conference so far, that you've been inspired, that you have laughed and learned something. So I'm here to talk to you about wings. And I know it's a Q&A, but I thought I might still cover a few of the basic questions that you might have with this presentation. So to make sure that most of the questions are covered, and then we can talk about the interesting stuff later on. So Wings is a fund. It means we actually fund games and games that have to be made by teams which have women or marginalized gender developers at key positions in the team. But I also realized I didn't introduce myself, which is a bit rude. I agree. So I'm Audrey Leprince. I'm the co-founder of Wings. And I also have co-founded my own indie studio, The Game Bakers. These are my last two games, and the Women in Games France. So why did we start Wings? We started Wings because we believe this industry will gain enormously for having more diversity, that the games that are going to be the huge successes of tomorrow might not be made today by the people that are making the games today, but some new entrants that might arrive. And we want to make sure that they get all the chances to make those games. We want to make sure that the players today are able to play new kinds of games, different kinds of games, the games they like, and that new players are attracted also to this industry. So basically that this diversity and this creativity is going to bring growth to the industry. Maybe some of you here have already tried to pitch your game idea. And maybe some of you have had that feeling that the people you were pitching to didn't get it. So we have this wonderful quote here from Tanya, who tried to pitch a boyfriend dungeon to several publishers. And as you know, she didn't sign with the publisher in the end. She did a Kickstarter, and we are pretty sure our game is going to be a success. And we have also, to illustrate what we're saying here, we have this quote from Rami too. And maybe you also share that feeling that sometimes you were in a room or at a presentation at GDC or pitching somewhere, and the people you were talking to had nothing in common with you. And it's not a, sorry, it's no wonder, because really currently the game industry is not very diverse. These are the statistics from GDC last year, and it's like 19% of the game developers are women. And when you look at the investment, you can realize that even less of the investment goes towards diverse teams. So we have a few facts here. I'm sorry, my voice is broken. I'll let you read at the same time. Yeah, we realize we have the figures that show that vast majority, or even more than that, of the investments actually goes to teams that are not diverse teams. We realize that 83% of the VC funds report to have no women on their investment committee. So no wonder many of you have been in the situation that we mentioned before. So this is why we created Wings. One of the reasons we created Wings, and why Wings is so different, it's because we have designed a board that is only made of the same people, we hope, as the people who are going to pitch to us, which is, in our case, our focus right now is games made by women or marginalized gender developers. So our board is only composed of women. They are all coming from different countries and different backgrounds around the world, and they all have a successful game on their record, at least. And we believe also that because they're going to evaluate your game with no filter, there's not going to be one person you have to convince before you talk to them. No, you can register your application on the website, and they will review your game directly, whatever you submitted, with no interference from anyone else. We believe that's the fairest way to give you a chance to access the investment that we're proposing. Wings is investing, right? So we're investing in games, and our objective is to invest in games that are going to be successful on the market. So I know many of you know us because of our effort with the GDC Relief Fund, which was a fantastic effort that involved a lot of publishers that raised money to help the people who were impacted by the GDC cancellation. But we are not a charity, so this is really, Wings is really an initiative to prove that there is a great business in diversity, and that the games that you are going to make are going to be big successes. So we invest in games, and we can invest up to $500,000 per game. Our terms are quite aligned with what we call developer-friendly terms, or what we see from other publishers or other funds. Of course, you keep the complete ownership of your IP, of everything you do. You keep everything within your hands, your creative content, your decisions, your strategy. This is all your decision and belongs to you. We just bring the investment and then we recoup. Which our goal is to recoup twice on every game we're going to fund at a minimum. So this is like the most common terms that we can start the conversation with. Of course, the terms might evolve depending on the level of risk of your project, of the level of investment that you're asking, but that's the basic terms. We do other things. We're not a publisher, but we are still helping you. And I'm just going to clarify that we are not a publisher because we think we really believe in self-publishing. We think you are the best to know how to communicate about your game and how to sell your games. And we have seen a lot of success stories of developers who have self-published their games and achieved great success. So we don't do the publishing side, but we still can bring you a bit of help. In particular, every 3 months or so, we discuss together and you tell us what are your biggest problems, if you have any, and then we will do everything we can to find you some experts who can advise you, who can come and help you on those subjects. We also do a lot of business development for you. We talk to all the key partners, be it on the console side, Sony, Microsoft. We always keep an eye on potential deals and agreements that could help you de-risk your project. And also we are very connected with everything that is happening in terms of shows, visibility, events. So just to give you an example, the Guerrilla Collective show that launched this summer, the game supported by Wings were in it. And of course, we also have a network of recommended providers, people who are great at doing ports or localization or communication and can help you. And you also benefit from the support of all our advisors and our community. We have a small Discord only reserved to the people who we work with, but they are very active and they help each other a lot. I mentioned before that it's very simple to apply to Wings. You just go to our website and you can apply directly with a form. We take any genre, any type of game. Right now we're focusing on PC and console. But apart from that, we have no restriction on content or genre. Or everything is good as long as the team that's working on those games has among them some key people, key positions that are filled by women or marginalized gender developers. It could be an art director, it could be a lead programmer, it could be a narrative designer, it could also be the co-founder of the studio. It doesn't have to be an exact proportion, it just needs to feel that that team is diverse and that the people who are going to benefit from the success of the game are women or marginalized gender developers. To pitch, you only have to have a few things, of course, a playable demo, a prototype, so we can have a good sense of what you want to achieve, a pitch, and of course the pitch needs to include your idea of the budget of the game and how much you're going to ask in terms of investment, but also your marketing plan, because from the beginning, we want you to have thought your game and the budget of your game according to how much you think you're going to be able to sell and who's going to be out there to buy it. So to submit, when you have this information, you just have to go on our website and fill the form. And we review games every 2 weeks, so we try to keep quite reactive to give you feedback quite quickly, so you don't have to wait for a long time to know if we're interested or not. That's how we work. And that was really the quick introduction I wanted to do before I take some questions. So let me check in the chat. I don't think there is many questions. What are you all doing? All right, so yeah, thank you for asking a few questions. So Marie-Claire, we have funded 4 games so far. 2 of them, sorry, have already been released. The latest one I think you might have seen is Later Daters from a wonderful team in Canada. And coming soon, we also have Lord Winklebottom Investigates. That's a fantastic game from Charlotte in the UK with a gentleman giraffe detective. And Don't Forget Me, a game coming from France this time. That is, and both of them are going to ship next year. We are looking for many games at the moment. We are looking to invest in more teams. Of course, because our requirements are so different, there are not many teams and many games that can fit. So you're always welcome to apply if you think you are the right fit for the fund. How do we deal with the funding? So once the funding decision has been taken, once we agree that we're going to work together, we generally agree on a schedule of milestones and deliverables. And for each of those major milestones, we usually associate a payment. So you would receive funding on the first milestone at signature, and then maybe on the alpha of the game, and then a bit on the beta. And we help you fund the game like that until the game is finished and it ships. And then we recoup ourselves on the sales of the game. So how do we inform the people we want to apply to this fund? So that's true. That's one of the biggest challenge we have. It's a great question, is how can everybody we want to reach know about Wings, right? Because probably many of the people we want to reach might not be in this conference, or they might not be on Twitter, or they might not be in the game development meetings. They might be coming from another area, another city, a remote country, or even they might just be fresh and new to the industry, coming from the movies or something else. So that's a big challenge we have, and this is why we are so grateful to have been invited to this specific conference and to work closely with all of the Women in Games organization and other types of organizations who promote diversity in the game industry. It's because through them, we hope to reach a maximum of women, marginal gender developers who might not necessarily hang in the places where most of the developers usually do hang. So yeah, we're counting on them. We're counting on you for word of mouth. We have a website, we have a Twitter account where we try to keep you updated with all our news. So don't hesitate to spread the word about Wings. So do we reach out to graduates? So we sometimes talk to graduates. But it's true that we don't actively go into schools to talk about Wings, because we are looking for games that are going to be already quite fit for the market. So the team needs to have a little bit of experience, which doesn't mean that graduates can't do that. I've seen some amazing games from freshly going out of school teams. But it's true that usually we work more with people who are already involved in the industry in some ways. We'd love to talk more with graduates in schools, but we haven't done it so much so far. How does Wings get the money for the funding? So we have raised private investment. We are lucky to have had the backup of a few key investors who believe this is the right mission for the industry, and we believe this is going to be successful. So do we have a minimum size to fund a project? No, we don't have a minimum size. And also I want to say we can invest at different stages. One of the games we helped, Pushy Pulley, from a wonderful Esther in Spain, she just needed a little bit of money to finish our game and to actually work on the communication and awareness of her game. And we just gave her a little bit of funding for the very end of the game. So we also can fund very small parts of your game if you need to, or very specific needs you have. We don't have to fund the whole game. We can really help in many different ways. And the game I just talked to you about, the Gentleman Giraffe, Lord Winklebottom Investigates, is actually made by a solo dev, Charlotte. She's doing everything herself. I'm very amazed by her talent. So we don't have a team size, minimum team size. So after being funded by Wings, are developers allowed to tie up with publishers instead of self-publishing? So it's always a possibility. We are not strict on self-publishing, and it's true that the temptation to work with a publisher, it can be strong. So it's always a possibility, as long as you can find a deal that's interesting for you in that business. Because if your publisher didn't fund the game, what are they going to do, really? A little bit of marketing? Yes, yes, exactly. We also think that if you get the right people in your team, if you get the right support, you could be doing maybe as good as them. Unless, of course, you want to go for a specific publisher because they have exactly the audience you want, which I completely understand. How long does the relationship with the studio funded team go on for? We accompany them all along the development of the game and after. We actually have some of our previously funded teams who would like to come in our board to be able to return the favor and also participate and help developers get funded. So yeah, we hope to build a long-term relationship with all the teams we help. And we hope they will come back to us with their next game because they will have been extremely satisfied of working with us. So how long will this funding go on for? So we are hoping that this funding and this initiative is going to be so successful that we're going to be able to expand and continue first funding women and marginal gender developers with all the profit we're going to make from your fantastic games and reinvest it in other games from women and marginal genders, but also to expand, because Wings has a global vision about diversity, and right now we are focused on women and marginal gender developers, and we have the right board to evaluate those projects, but eventually we want to include more diversity and support more diverse teams, in particular people of color and other minorities. Do you give any business coaching to the teams that you fund? Well, that's a great question, and I wish we could give them coaching. Unfortunately, we are still a rather small team. So we have a producer who follows all the teams and give general advice, and we have the advisors and the head of Wings that are also participating in the strategic aspects of the title and can give also some advice or do some business development for you. But we don't actually do proper coaching, especially not business coaching. What we are trying to do, though, and you might have seen, some of you, is we have partnered with the excellent team at Team Coven that I think is having a Q&A right now. And with them, we have created a program that's called Elevate, that is like a coaching, mentoring program that runs over 4 months. Developers selected for this program are actually being paid to work on their games, and they're getting mentorship and presentations from different actors of the industry. And the goal of this program is to help them reach the next level on the prototype they are working with. So this year, this is our Elevate 2020. It's focused on this kind of teams. But the idea is that every year we would like to focus our incubator/mentoring program, our Elevate program, on different types of teams. And we could go for maybe just graduated teams, or teams that need more coaching on specific aspects. We could do an Elevate that is only focused on business. So there's a lot of options for the upcoming years. The Elevate program is just about to start, though, so the applications are now closed for this year. You're welcome. I encourage you, anyway, well, there's no question. I encourage you to go and have a look on our website, Wings. It's wingsfund.me, so it's kind of easy. There you can see some of the games we funded. You can see our application form. You can actually scroll through all the questions without answering, just to see what's in it. And there's also a FAQ with a lot of questions that people ask us most of the time. And there is a blog post that I wrote just to give you some tips on your application. And of course, don't hesitate to contact us, to send us an email, or to reach out to us on Twitter, where we are the most active, if you have any questions about the whole process. Yes, thank you, Marie-Claire. We are very happy to have started this initiative. As I said in the previous session where we discussed about women in games, this is really coming from the understanding that for the industry to change, the money allocation needs to change. So this is why we started Wings, because we need to have a lot more diverse profile funded to see that change that we all wish for in the industry, both in terms of content and in terms of representation. Thank you, everyone. I actually don't know how much time I have left because my time has disappeared. So there's like 4 minutes. So thank you for all your kind words. Don't hesitate to tell your friends and to talk about us, about Wings, to all your friends. And I hope to see some of your games come through the application soon.